Hey, what's going on, everyone? Matthew from therighttrader.com back today with another daily crypto update. Cryptocurrencies are coming up on a very important moment. It's actually going to be very much of a make it or break it moment where we're really going to see the path that's going to be set for cryptocurrencies over the next few weeks to months. And a lot of that is going to depend on Bitcoin either breaking above its downtrend line or below its uptrend line. So we're in the symmetrical triangle formation right now on Bitcoin, and a lot of other cryptocurrencies are also in a symmetrical triangle formation. And this is a long-standing formation, right? This actually kind of started at the beginning of the year. So it's been going on for a long time, and we're just now finally coming towards the end of this formation. And what I think is interesting here is there's reason to be hopeful that we will actually break towards the upside. Of course, this type of formation is usually pretty 50-50, but we're already starting to see some cryptocurrencies, break out of their downtrend lines, and hopefully Bitcoin, which is at the end of the day the market leader and tends to set the path for other cryptocurrencies out there, can also break out of its downtrend line. So we're going to cover that in more detail in just a second, but over the past 24 hours, cryptocurrencies kind of flat. We're definitely in this consolidation. Don't forget to follow me on Twitter for live cryptocurrency market updates. Been posting charts on my Twitter, regular updates, so make sure to follow me there. And also make sure to check out my premium content. Link to all of those in the description of this video. And let's get started with some news. BitThumb officially cleared by the Korean IRS for alleged illegal activity. So for those who don't know, BitThumb, I think some other cryptocurrency exchanges as well, in South Korea were accused of fraudulent activity, and that created a lot of FUD, dropped the market. This is finally starting to clear up. They don't have anything against them anymore, and on top of that, we've seen the South Korean government take a much softer stance on cryptocurrencies overall. Even around Asia, right? They seem to be lifting some bans, and that is very good. That's just yet another reason why you can't worry too much about those FUD moments. Once again, just my opinion, not financial advice, as in everything in these videos. Let's go ahead, take a look at the Bitcoin chart in more detail now. So Bitcoin came up on its downtrend line, and we got a red candlestick here. So this could mean one of two things. If over the next day we are able to get a green candlestick, we'll probably break out of the downtrend line, and at that point, that's what we want to see, right? That'll be very bullish. And even though we may not see a jump right away, which a jump right away is definitely possible, but even if that doesn't happen, we'll be out of the downtrend line, which is what matters, and we can just slowly but surely move up from there when we're ready. But getting out of that downtrend line is really what we want. Now, if we don't get a green candlestick over the next day, we are most likely going to start dropping back down towards the end of our formation, which is right now right around $7,230. So, like I said, if we're not able to get the breakout here over the next day, we're probably going to need to reach the end of the formation before we get our breakout. And from there, right, once we reach the end of the formation, it's just going to be a matter of either breaking towards the upside or the downside of the symmetrical triangle. And that is what's really going to set the path for the market here. So going to be a very important moment. Like I said, it's been building up for months now. And I think this is really what's going to set the trend for the next few months. So we'll have to wait and see. But what's interesting is that if we move over to the Ethereum chart, and you'll see this for a couple other cryptocurrencies as well, we're starting to see some bullish signs. Ethereum broke out of its downtrend line in the shorter term, so that's good. However, we still have this more long-term downtrend, which we still haven't broken out of. And once again, I'm going to delete this shorter-term downtrend line to avoid confusion. But we also have the symmetrical triangle right here. We're a little bit stronger than Bitcoin, but either way, right, if we see that we start falling in, we'll most likely reach the end of the formation. And to be honest, most of the time, it's actually very rare with symmetrical triangles that we don't reach the end of the formation. So while it is possible to break out a little bit in advance, most of the time we do end up reaching the end of the formation before getting that move either towards the upside or downside. And like we said, what we want to see here for a bullish sign is going to be a move above our downtrend line to the upside. Let's take a look at Litecoin and see what's going on. So Litecoin is very flat right now. If we zoom out a bit, you'll see that we've been quite flat since really for months now, right? Since February, pretty much. So zooming in, we can see that, a lot of signs that we're going to continue to act pretty flat, especially with the Bollinger Bands coming towards the price. I think that we're going to move where we're at right now and kind of maybe a little bit lower to reach the end of the formation, but overall, pretty flat price action is expected here for Litecoin unless we get some kind of breakout in advance. We're going to need to wait for Bitcoin to make that move to really signal what's ready for the rest of the market. However, Ripple, and I'm not going to forget to cover EOS and Nano, so I'm just wanting to go to Ripple because it is important to the point that I'm trying to make here. Ripple is actually one of the few cryptos that did manage to break out of its symmetrical triangle formation to the upside. And it hasn't gotten any kind of crazy move and jump yet, but it is a great sign. And this might be a sign that other cryptocurrencies such as Bitcoin, Ethereum, are going to also break out towards the upside like Ripple did. You have to spot these signs. Some of these cryptos, even though Bitcoin does tend to be the leader, some cryptos actually tend to make the moves towards the upside or downside before other cryptocurrencies, and those ones are very important to pay attention to because they really can give us a bit of a hint to what's going to happen. And that's why I mentioned earlier in this video that there is a reason to be hopeful that we will end up breaking towards the upside because Ripple did so, right? And there's going to be a couple other cryptos you'll see in this video that have done so as well. Now, let's go ahead and not forget EOS. So we're going to cover that right over here, going over to the Binance chart. EOS is still above its uptrend line, holding up pretty well here. I'm not too worried about any kind of drop lower. As long as we're above this uptrend line, I think that we should be able to trend higher without too many issues. And we're still looking good on the Bollinger Bands, middle band. No real reason for concern unless we drop below the uptrend line, like I said. Let's take a look at Nano now, see what's going on. Nano has been one of the flattest cryptocurrencies out there. So flat that it leads me to think that we might even be seeing some manipulation here, but we're hovering right around 50,000 satoshis, and that's looking like it's going to continue. We're not going to see any type of different move before we either break below $50,000, 50,000 satoshis, sorry, or we get a breakout above 55,000 satoshis. As long as one of those two things doesn't happen, we're probably just going to continue to see this very flat consolidation. Let's go ahead and take a look now at our next cryptocurrency, which is going to be Stellar Lumens, and see what's going on. So Stellar Lumens is starting to show a little bit of weakness. We're falling back towards the middle of our range here between our two Bollinger Bands. So we're probably going to consolidate at around 3,730 satoshis. With that being said, we're still okay. We're still in this range really between 3,500 and 4,000 satoshis. I think that we're just waiting for Bitcoin to make that move. But overall, it has been holding up pretty well compared to a lot of other cryptocurrencies, which is good. But we're starting to see that it does need to consolidate a little bit more here. Let's go ahead and take a look at Vertcoin and see what's going on. Vertcoin been acting pretty weak, and unfortunately, we got a very bearish sign here. We actually dropped below $1.54. I think that Vertcoin is just not enough in the spotlight like it used to be, and this is a bit of a rough time for cryptos, right? We're definitely in a bit of a bear market, and the smaller cryptos are going to have a much harder time to thrive or even sustain themselves in this environment. And that's why we're seeing Vertcoin drop below $1.54. At this point, unless we get a bounce above that over the next few days, I think we're going to be heading down towards $1 or lower than that even. Let's go ahead and take a look at our next cryptocurrency, which is going to be, let's see, next up is going to be Lisk, and see what's going on. So going over to the Bittrex chart, we can see that Lisk has now come back down towards $8.50. I think we're going to consolidate around this area for a bit longer. Once again, waiting for the crypto market to be ready to make that clear move. And for now, that's all I can expect is just consolidation around $8.50. Let's go ahead and take a look at Cardano next, see what's going on. And going over to the Bittrex chart once again, still has been dropping. We got that sharp move to our resistance level, and we've been pulling back from there, which is pretty much expected. Now, we'll see when this drop ends. We're actually coming up towards some support here, so it shouldn't be long. Around 2,600 satoshis, there is a lot of support. So hopefully, start to stabilize there and basically just continue our consolidation between 2,500 and 3,000 satoshis. Let's take a look at our last cryptocurrency of the daily crypto update, which is going to be IOTA. And IOTA is actually not looking too bad here. We have a pretty similar move as Cardano did. However, we're actually looking a little bit more bullish. We got a doji candlestick and a green candlestick after that, which pushes us out of our downtrend line in the short term. So at this point, I think that we're going to hold up pretty well at around $1.70, and we might even be ready to slowly but surely start moving higher back towards $1.91 over the next 2 weeks or so. Definitely holding up nicely and seems to have avoided any kind of drop here. So that's good. With that being said, this is the end of this daily crypto update. Thanks for watching. I'll see you next time.